saw a TikTok the other day that was talking about the how millennials, when they record like a video to post on the internet, will pause right after like hitting record, sort of like unsure of I guess if it's capturing them immediately. Like there's this common pause that takes place, and it's very noticeable among like millennials. And the idea there is that like this generation is sort of coming to a point where they're sort of aging out of like modern, like how to use modern technology in a way. Like there's like quirks that you can notice with a lot of like millennials that you won't see with like Gen Z, for instance, when it comes to engaging with things on the internet.
I don't know. I think that specific behavior, though, is like conditioned to where it's like you would like go to record or like take a photo or something, and then you'd like do a whole thing and then realize that it didn't record and you feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's like a conditioned behavior rather than
I can see that.
Like being like we're turning into boomers kind of thing.
Right.
I think that's like the wrong message to take away from that specific behavior.
Could be.
Like, yeah, like, sure, maybe we won't know how to use an iPad in 10 years or something, Like, we talked about that a long time ago where, like, Zoomers don't know how to use computers properly because they were raised on, like, touch devices.
Yes.
So I don't know. So, yeah, maybe we will just not know how to... Maybe we won't know how to use Zuckerberg's metaverse. No
less like not even just like how to use it, but what it is.
Well, sure. Yeah, I don't think any Facebook. I was actually reading about that earlier. Like nobody that works for Facebook knows what it is. Like,
yeah,
it's just his whole.
It's in his head, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the term metaverse is just being attributed to anything that's like augmented reality or virtual reality related, which is something that's existed for a long time now. So
right, yeah, it just bothers me because I'm not gonna bring it up.
Okay.
I'm not gonna bring it up because you'll just I can't see you, but I know you'll just immediately roll your eyes, so I'm not gonna bring it up.
Oh, now I want to hear it.
I was just gonna say because like Persona 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I should have known.
It's like, they go into the metaverse in Persona 5, and that's like part of the, story of the game.
Is it actually referred to as the metaverse?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And it's just sort of like, instead of them saying the collective unconscious, like over and over and over again, they say the metaverse.
Maybe Zuck is a big Persona fan.
He's definitely not. No, he read he read too much Ready Player One, I think.
Oh God. Thing. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just us hitting record reminded me of that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. Oh, we have fun. So the DeadEndRoad show. It's Bill and Ian. It's Bill and the non-political Ian.
Yes.
We got some fun stuff. And it's not political is the collective unconscious and the Jungian archetypes, which can be viewed through tarot cards. And so it's time for another edition of Not in the Cards, where I was actually requested. This was a requested reading.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I thought you never wanted to ever see this segment again. Because it always ends in not only like impending doom, but also very bad audio.
I guess it's been long enough since the last one that I've forgotten how bad it usually is. So this will just be a reminder, and then we won't return to it for a long time going forward.
Yeah. So you requested a specific reading because you would like to see the fortunes of one New York Jets football team.
Yes.
And the last time you wanted to know about the future and the conditions of the New York Jets football team, you specifically asked about the quarterback. And it was not looking good. I think I might have pulled the death card or something catastrophic. And then the quarterback did get hurt for quite a length of time. But yeah, because the Jets are actually they're shocking the world right now.
Yes. If the season ended today, the Jets would be in a playoff position.
That would be strange because it's only been like 5 weeks, so that would be a weird
6.
season. 6, okay, still would be a weird season. But yeah, they're playing quite well. So you want to know if they're for real?
Yeah, it's been interesting because the Jets have been like in this constant cycle of potential rebuild, collapse, for the better part of like a decade now, at least. Where a lot of I'm rounding down there. And it's a situation where they always have high draft picks because, the worse you are, the worse you perform in the regular season, the better draft pick you have. So the Jets have reliably had a very top tier draft class. This offseason, they had 3 first-round picks and a high second-round pick. And all 4 of those players have been absolute difference makers on the field. It's one of those things where, this group of young players has really come together in addition to some veterans they have and a really good coaching system. And they're performing far better than most people anticipated.
Sure.
So yeah, it's been exciting. And because the last tarot reading was so accurate, scarily accurate.
Yeah.
And because I am an impatient person, I do want to refer to the cards to see how the rest of the season will go from here on.
Sure. So yeah, I think we'll keep things simple and just do a past, present, future, right? That seems to make the most sense.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I've done some shuffling. I think I did a fairly decent job here. And we'll see what's in store. Okay. Our first card is an inverted Queen of Wands. All right. Now, normally when it's upright, it's courage and determination. But since this is reversed, it signifies selfishness, jealousy, and insecurities. And this is for our past.
Okay.
And so the Jets have had their share of struggles. You said a decade. It's been probably longer than that. And they've been in the AFC East, under the thumb of the Patriots for a very long time. And so they've always been looking up in the standings, right? With a lot of jealousy, right?
Let me just say that they recently broke a 12-game division losing streak.
Sure, yeah. So they've been looking up in the standings with a lot of jealousy, wondering why that can't be them. And it couldn't be them because of their piss-poor play and management. And so there's been a lot of insecurity there. That they've been like the Patriots and Tom Brady were just feasting on them and the rest of the division for 20 years. So yeah, I think this accurately showcases the past of the Jets.
A little harsh there, but that's fair.
Let's take a look at their present now. We have an inverted High Priestess. I don't know why I pull a lot of inverted cards. I really try to shuffle. I don't know what happens. So normally this is intuitive. It represents your inner voice. But reversed, it's a lack of balance, a lost inner voice, and repressed feelings. So maybe the current Jets are like, this is a different state of circumstances, right? They're known as a bit of a joke, the butt fumble, you have.
Oh God, that was so long ago.
I know, but like it's part of the identity. It's only what was it, the butt punt now is from was it the Cardinals has now supplanted the butt fumble as sort of the ass play in the NFL.
So that happened this year, right? That was
it did.
That was a punt from a team's own end zone, so they were really backed up and
they were backed up all right.
Great. Yeah, so the punter kicked it right into the back of one of his own teammates.
Just straight up the gooch. It was something else. So that was sort of like the defining quality of the Jets. And so that was their inner voice, even though, that was a dark memory, right? But
a dark memory that is forever tattooed on somewhere on Rex Ryan's body.
Yeah. And so now, like they've had these repressed feelings, right? Of like we said before, inadequacy and jealousy, and now they're able to like sort of unleash that, right? They're able to sort of try to turn things around, and that's kind of maybe the present state.
All right, I like that interpretation. Again, it was really focusing on the negative there, but that's okay.
And let's see. This is what the one you're very curious about is the future.
This is it. Yep.
Yeah,
that's what I've been waiting for.
We have an inverted.
Oh no.
We have an inverted Knight of Swords.
I don't know about your abilities here when it comes to tarot
I don't know
readings.
what it is. I don't know what it is. Okay, well, you're not gonna like this. Normally, when it's upright, it's impulsiveness and defensive beliefs.
Okay.
But when it's reversed, it means there's sort of there's no direction, and a disregard of consequences and unpredictability. So this is a little hard to read, right? If there's unpredictability, right?
Interesting.
So this could go in a lot of directions, literally. So it could break bad and go the way that the Jets usually go, or they could continue to surprise and maybe compete for a literal wild card, right? But
I like that. I like that wordplay there.
Yeah. And if they're disregarding consequences, they have nothing to lose, right? Like,
they're very much playing with house money this year.
Exactly. Like nobody expected them to be where they are. And it's still a transitional period. It's a time of change. And, if they win some games, it's fantastic. And if they lose some games, they can continue to, build on what they're working with. Right. So the consequences really don't matter. So they can disregard them.
Yes, I like that, especially when you consider how young the team is and how much of a foundation they have, right, for the future.
Yeah. So, it may be unpredictable, but that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing.
Can we do a separate reading for the quarterback again?
Sure.
Because
I'd be happy to.
That position continues to be my main point of concern for the team. Throughout this strong start to the season, the defense has been dominant, just fantastic. The run game, led by rookie Breece Hall, who's had multiple consecutive 100+ yard games, has been excellent. Zach Wilson has existed on the field, I will say.
Well, that's better than what he's done before.
Yes. So, last week I was watching him play, and one thing I really do like is his ability to like create time and space for himself. He will sort of scramble and, make up for maybe some weaknesses in the pass block game, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the player we had before, Joe Flacco, was a literal statue, and
because he's 40 fucking years old, and also before that he was not very mobile.
True. Yeah. He did the best he could out there, but yeah, so he creates time and space. It's just the decision making that Wilson makes when he throws the football is often concerning. There are probably like 3 or 4 passes that should have been intercepted in the Packers game that weren't, which could have made the game turn out quite differently,
Right.
There were some passes that I feel like most quarterbacks would and should make accurately, where he would like either throw behind or in front of the receiver. So, just some little things that, and he's still very young, right? This is his second season in the league. He's had an injury issue that has sort of stalled his season. So there's a lot of time and room for growth, right? But I would like to consult the cards about Zach Wilson specifically and what his future is looking like.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll do another simple one.
Okay.
Another past, present, future. I'm trying to get a good shuffle. Okay. All right. Zach Wilson's past. The 6 of Wands. Now this one doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Okay.
It's for victory, success, and public reward.
Okay. I can see that though, because you're talking about a first round draft pick with a very successful college career.
Okay, yeah, this would be his college career, and his public reward would have been his high draft choice, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I guess that's what this would signify then. I guess not a really whole lot to say then.
All right.
Right?
We're just leading into what we really want to uncover here.
Present, the sun.
Oh, I didn't even know that was an option.
Joy, success, celebration, and positivity. So it's a good time right now, right? The clouds have parted.
Yes,
riding high. And he's still young. This is like the sun has literally risen, right?
He did the what's it called, the gritty, when he scored a touchdown, the dance.
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, that looked fun, exciting.
I just know the Flyers mascot.
Maybe I have the wrong name. Wait, let me look that up real quick. This is not necessary at all, but
Gritty's the Flyers mascot, right?
Gritty is, but this is like GRIDDY.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a Fortnite thing?
There is a Fortnite dance, I think.
Sure.
But it's unclear of which, it's like a chicken or the egg thing. Was the Fortnite dance based on something football related or is it the other way around? The gritty is a popular dance move in which a person alternately taps their heels, either in place or while walking, while swinging their arms back and forth. Finally, they bring their hands to their eyes, which gritty creator Alan Davis refers to as, quote, putting bees up, and popularizer of bees, like the letter B, and popularizer of the gritty, Justin Jefferson, who I think is a wide receiver for the Vikings. He instructs throwing your bees, and this I don't know what this means.
I don't know what any of this means.
This looks similar to forming OK symbols around their eyes. This is all from Wikipedia, by the way.
Oh, so you make a bee with your hands, I guess? Okay.
Origins. Alan Davis, as a high school football player, was inspired by the Nene to make his own dance. He created the gritty and uploaded videos to YouTube. Oh, and he introduced this to one of his best friends, who is now the star wide receiver of the Bengals, Jamar Chase.
Okay.
And so Chase started doing this at LSU, and then he showed it to Justin Jefferson, and it kind of took off from there.
I see.
And in 2021, the dance was featured as an emote in Fortnite. So there we go. We know we know which came first. I'm glad we cleared that up. You did not ask for this, but I thought I would share it.
Great. So, yeah. so Zach Wilson's present is doing the gritty.
Yeah.
But let's see what's in store. We have,
very nervous about this, an
inverted queen of Pentacles, or Pentacles, like that movie said. So normally when it's upright, you have practicality and financial security. But reversed, as we see here, it's self-centeredness, jealousy, and smothering. So this is interesting, especially for a quarterback, right? And you especially talked about maybe some poor decision making with the ball. And so he's not making those practical throws all the time, right? And according to this, that's just going to be part of his nature in the future. Is he's not going to be practical with the ball. And he's going to be a little self-centered, and maybe the gritty is just an indication of that, right? Where he's more concerned with the dancing than he is, with necessarily holding on to the ball. We see some quarterbacks that, they have that competitive hot-headedness in them. And sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you got like a Baker Mayfield or whoever the hell was the Browns quarterback before him. The other guy, with the coke addiction.
It's right on the tip of my tongue. Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. So there's some concern here. There's some concern. I do remember over the summer there was the whole thing with Zach Wilson where he was like he banged his best friend's mom. So there was that whole thing. That
just sounds like none of our business.
Sure, but it turned out that they all put it on Instagram. So then it was just public for whatever reason. And, the Zoomers, I don't know what they do. So there's a bit of self-centeredness here, and it might come into play on the field.
So can self-centeredness be a good thing? Because I've always, when I watch Zach Wilson, no matter how he's performing, there's always this air of like confidence and like belief in himself, right?
Yeah.
Could that maybe contribute to this self-centeredness? And maybe it's like having that confidence is important with the position that he plays.
I think to a degree, right? But there's probably a fine line, right?
Yeah,
you have to have that self-assuredness. If you don't have confidence in yourself, then, you're just like, I'm watching the Steelers, and we were dealing with Mitch Trubisky for about 4 weeks, and he was just sort of a sad sack out there.
I heard about that locker room drama too.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, you didn't hear this?
No.
Oh, this is a quick aside here, but during the Jets-Steelers game, when at halftime Trubisky was benched and Kenny Pickett, the rookie quarterback, got his first chance to play, everybody assumed that like it was because Trubisky wasn't performing very well and they wanted something to sort of like spark the team, right?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out that at halftime, there was an altercation and Trubisky kind of got into it with one of his teammates, and whatever was said there led to the coach benching him. So there was some locker room drama going on there, which came out after the fact. I'm surprised you didn't hear about this.
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was like a sad sack, and like he wasn't playing super well, but he wasn't like, having turnovers or like throwing the game away.
Right.
But he just like didn't have any kind of like spark or confidence or anything. So like I think to a degree you need sort of that, some of that, maybe even some of that overconfidence. But
I've said this before, but the New York media is so harsh when it comes to the sports teams too. Mm-hmm. So I feel like some of that confidence can kind of counteract the brutality of the sports world and the culture in New York that surrounds the Jets, right?
Mm-hmm. So that's might be an area of concern. It might be okay, but that's what the cards have for you.
All right. I'm not, super let down by this. I feel like there's some hope there. There's some possibility.
Yeah.
The Jets have by the time this is up, the game will be over, but they have the Denver Broncos, the struggling Denver Broncos this Sunday.
Yeah.
Which to me has trap game written all over it. Like they're traveling to the West Coast and playing a team that's really in a bad place. So
at the same time, have you attempted to watch a Broncos game?
No, I haven't.
It's unwatchable.
My jaw hit the floor when I recently found out how many draft picks and players they gave up to get Russell Wilson.
Yeah, they got robbed.
Like they have not only gotten a quarterback who is they overpaid for and who is not performing up to the standards they would have thought, but in the process they have derailed like their future for who knows how.
Yeah. Their defense is really good, but they cannot move the ball at all. Like they just don't score. There's
Well, that right there sounds like the past New York Jets. So that sounds all right to me.
Yeah, but because I guess everybody was convinced that it's Russell Wilson's. This is going to be a marquee games, and so they've just been on prime time.
Yeah, like
every week, and it's just been unwatchable. Just like 6-9 games. Just terrible.
Well, make sure everybody tune in to the Jets and the Broncos this Sunday.
Okay. That's enough football talk for now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I want to do another quick edition of Worst Beats in the World because I saw this on Twitter, courtesy of a retweet from the Lawrence Arms Brendan Kelly. And this is sort of flabbergasting. Whatever this is. And I don't even know how to introduce it. I think we should just listen to it.
Great.
So this is, I want to get the title correctly. I Know the Secret from Tripod City. I was told if the opportunities arise to fulfill your dreams in life, do it before they die. Look at the hunger in my eyes, and you will realize my limit's higher than the sky. Yeah, I'ma go balls to the wall and rock the crowd from the summer through the fall. Damn right I want it all, so I'ma knock on this door till the mother fall.
secret if you didn't want to know. The truth ain't always pretty, so I tell it how it goes. The girl you slept with, she a dirty hoe. Now I'm telling you something you don't want to know. Anyhow, who knew that anyways? Nowadays, people's words tend to fade. Lost in your mind and your vision turns gray. One little secret ruined your whole day. But why? Why did you let it? Is there something I'm missing? I don't get it. The money that I lent you, did you spend it? What about the truth? Did you bend it? The letter that you sent, did you send it? High school, did you attend it?
So you kind of get the idea.
I think so.
Yeah.
So are you playing this because it happens to be the 25th anniversary of this song's release? Because this definitely came out in 1997, right?
According to YouTube, it came out December 26th, 2020.
Oh, no. Happy holidays.
High school, did you attend it?
It's a good line.
The fact that like he has to cram that to try to make that a sentence, but he's just rhyming it with it. Yeah.
Wait, so who is this?
This is Tripod City.
Okay.
And I had to Google them, and I found their Facebook page. And apparently Tripod City is Cleveland. I don't know why it's Cleveland.
Huh.
Yeah. I do. This is terrible audio, but I do want to. They apparently have an album called Born a Champion, which for Cleveland doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, I mean, what about LeBron and the NBA?
Oh, okay, I guess. But yeah, I'll just send you this real quick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to describe what we have here?
We have three gentlemen. One of them might be, I can't tell if he's wearing a wig or that's just a really like large do-rag.
Oh, I thought it was like a mullet situation. But you can't tell because there's a hat.
No, yeah, because he's got a backwards baseball hat. I think that's too much party in the back to be a mullet.
I thought that was the whole point of mullets.
No, I think, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Also, the guy on the left is doing the gritty symbol.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And the guy on the right, like, is like barely wearing his backwards baseball hat.
It almost looks photoshopped on.
The hat?
The hat.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Which I don't fully understand. Like, maybe they took the photo and he's like, man, I just really need a hat here.
Right.
But they couldn't retake it.
Honestly, I think
their studio space was, their rental was over.
I think the guy on the left needs a hat because he's got like a bump for hair. It's not like spikes or a mohawk. It's just kind of a bump. It's
a convergence point.
Yeah. I don't even know how you get that.
A lot of very stiff hair gel.
Yeah. So this whole deal is like the guy in the middle's like this is his life, right? And the other two guys just like fine, we'll help you out with this.
They have 9 to 5s.
Yeah. The guy in the middle is just like that. Yeah, this is like we're gonna make it kind of thing.
He's really the only one who was born a champion out of the trio here.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
What's on the tank top there? DF something.
I have no idea.
The guy on the left put on his good shirt for this photo.
Yeah. He's dressed
it's the button up with the collar.
Yeah. I know this is also bad audio. But this is also on their Facebook page. And maybe you could describe this one.
Oh, no. Oh, I don't want to do that.
No?
No, I don't want to do
No?
So this was, what the context here? Like, what was the post?
The caption is, in this life we live, let's live. And then the second live is all caps. Or maybe in this life we live, let's live. But I think it's the former.
Or what if it's in this life we live, let live?
Let's live.
Or what if it's live and let die?
It's definitely not that one because that's not in the text. But yeah. So no, you don't want to describe what's going on here?
Oh, I'm going to pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll do it. Looks like some kind of party. There's a dude with an old polycarbonate MacBook in the background. I had one of those.
That's really your first observation.
I'm setting the scene. Somebody's got a bottle of I don't know, some kind of vodka. I can't tell. And in the foreground we have, I guess, one of the tripods. I don't know which one. Being grinded on by just a lovely girl from Cleveland who she's like almost on the floor. She's like doing the I don't know.
Not the gritty.
I don't know if it's the gritty. I don't know what it is, but she's hanging out. She's definitely hanging out.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, that's from 2013, by the way.
Oh, wow. Throwback.
Well, she's thrown it back. Their bio says, intro, Tripod City, Bully, Blaze, and Grizzle. Which one do you think's which?
Oh, those are their names?
Apparently.
Oh, God. Man, I don't know. That's tough.
I think Grizzle's in the center.
Grizzle's in the center?
I think he's Grizzle.
All right, and then Bully's on the right. He's got the arms crossed, the very serious face. It's
really?
intimidating.
I think Bully might be on the left.
Why? Explain.
I don't know. He kind of looks like a bully.
Okay.
And then the one on the right is Blaze. Oh, actually, it's not spelled Blaze like fire. It's spelled Blaze like blase, which is really kind of artsy.
That's the first word I would use when describing Tripod City is artsy.
Yeah.
Well, Blase looks like he's too cool for school in this photo. You know, he's kind of like, yeah, I'll do this, you know, because you asked me to, but I don't really want to be here type of vibe.
That letter, did you send it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's that's worst beats in the world for this week.
Are you going to link to these wonderful photos in the show description?
Sure, I could do that. Yeah.
Or at least the first one. I don't know. The second one might get us like thrown off of Spotify or something.
I don't think Spotify even knows we're on their platform, to be honest with you. Yeah, the second one is rough. It's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there was apparently a music video, but then it got immediately like scrubbed off of as soon as like it was circulating on Twitter. So
somehow I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I ordered this incorrectly. I should not. Okay. All right. Well, it's time for a dead wrong.
Oh yeah, you really did.
I fucked this up badly. All right. Well, I'll do the other one and then the other one, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to live and let live.
No way. Not this time.
Okay. I'll keep it short because these aren't really corrections or anything. These are more of updates on previous stories. So chess news, back in the chess news, we talked previously about the chess cheating scandal and thought it would be quiet for a little bit. Apparently not so, because Hans Niemann has now fired back and is suing chess.com and Magnus Carlsen for $100 million.
Let's get those t-shirts printed. Here we go. It's a redemption tour.
Yeah. So the 19-year-old is now suing chess.com. And basically for the reasons that I brought up previously, he's alleging in the suit that chess.com is colluding with Carlsen because they're now business partners because chess.com is acquiring his app. The suit also claims that Hikaru Nakamura, another chess player and chess.com affiliated popular streamer, colluded with Carlsen and chess.com through, quote, video content that was like supposed to give credence to the cheating allegations. And the suit also mentions a Danny Wrench, the chief chess officer of chess.com, who issued, quote, defamatory press releases.
Yeah, Danny was, he's had like public facing stuff because he's been on Twitch streaming and stuff as well.
I see.
Yeah. He would like host he would host and commentate PogChamps tournaments and various things like that.
Yeah, the suit says that the actions, quote, destroyed Niemann's remarkable career in its prime and ruined his life. And it continues, quote, chess is Niemann's life. And he like linked to the his lawsuit and tweeted, quote, my lawsuit speaks for itself. So
I'm thinking for the t-shirts, we could have Team Niemann on the back, and then on the front, we could have it be like, say, Chess is Life.
Okay. I thought you were going to be like Team Niemann and then like on the reverse, Team Carlsen, just like in case it goes one way or the other. So you can like reverse
have
it.
All my bases covered.
Yeah. Just depending on the day, you know? Like, so yeah. Chess.com issued a response through their lawyers, but it's just kind of just like, yeah, he did it. We are proud of our reputation and we're going to defend ourselves, basically. There's no merit to Hans' allegations, and Chess.com looks forward to setting the record straight on behalf of its team and, quote, all honest chess players. Okay.
Do you think that Neiman is really potentially in over his head here?
Maybe.
Because, like, I'm thinking if there were receipts on the part of chess.com, like receipts that they did not make public, this could compel them to do so, and things could get worse if everything they're saying is true.
Everything that chess.com is saying is true?
Yeah.
And so you're saying it could get worse for Neiman?
For Neiman, yeah.
Maybe. Or, like through discovery, they've got some records that show like they're very adamant about how Carlsen had no contact with chess.com, like with regards to the cheating allegations, and like, okay, well, what if you did? Right. Like what if you got some Discord logs,
Okay, so let's say like maybe the cheating did happen, but also there was some conflict of interest on the part of Chess and Carlsen, right? Is what you're saying?
Yes, because part of this complaint is Chess.com's merger with Play Magnus to monopolize chess. Mm-hmm. The merger's announcement was personally made by Wrench and Carlsen in a split-screen video. When Chess.com and Play Magnus announced the merger on August 24th, 2022, they estimated it would take approximately 6 to 8 weeks to finalize the transaction. Thus, at the time Neiman defeated Carlsen at the Sinkfield Cup, Carlsen and Chess.com were in the midst of negotiating terms for Carlsen's sale of his Play Magnus brand.
Some interesting timing there.
Mm-hmm. Upon announcing the merger, it was reported that, quote, with this, there is no other realistic chess competitor in sight, apart from the open source and free Lichess platform, raising questions about monopolistic issues in the space and the reasons behind Chess.com's recent price hike.
I was trying to remember the name of that Lichess, but I couldn't because, like, I knew it exists, but I couldn't remember what it was called, and that kind of speaks to how much of a stranglehold that chess.com has over the landscape,
Once completed, the merger will solidify chess.com's monopoly over the chess industry by, among other things, providing it total control over Chess24, one of the last few alternatives to chess.com for online chess, and purchasing the Play Magnus brand, which has become virtually synonymous with chess. It's like, yes, but what does that have to do with, like, I understand, like, I brought up the conflict of interest.
Right.
And how it wasn't really being disclosed at all. And it's clear that they will have a monopoly on online chess. Mm-hmm. But what does bringing up their monopoly specifically have to do with?
Maybe just like a strategic, just changing attention and putting attention elsewhere,
I guess.
Because, I mean, speculation here, but like it does seem like the two things can be true, right? That Neiman did do all these things and cheated, and also that there was some conversations and collaboration on the parts of Carlsen and Chess and whatnot. So
the rest of this seems like it's on topic. Chess.com, Wrench, and Nakamura republished Carlsen's false accusation that Diergi is Neiman's mentor and helped him cheat. Numerous officials and experts confirm that there is no evidence that Neiman cheated against Carlsen or lied about his past online play. To drown out legitimate sources clearing Neiman of Carlsen's defamatory accusations, Chess.com and Wrench published a defamatory report falsely accusing Neiman of cheating and lying about online cheating. So yeah. Yeah,
and we do still have these two separate issues of the online cheating, which, I imagine there are like documents that back that up, but then also the in-person cheating that happened this year, like that feels like a different scenario altogether. And I don't like one does not prove the other,
Right.
Obviously, the context is important there if somebody has a history of doing something, but
right. But if you can't prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yes, it is continuing to be an ongoing story.
Yeah. And then we got another one here because as soon as we stopped recording, a couple hours later, the NHL issued a statement on the Ian Cole situation. So the NHL closed its investigation of the Ian Cole situation due to a, quote, lack of evidence after talking to Cole and some of his former teammates, and struggling to get in contact with the individual that made the grooming allegations in their anonymous Twitter post. And so he was fully reinstated for team activities and league play. And that was it. It was like nothing happened.
That's very disappointing.
Yeah. You don't know how hard they honestly tried to get a hold of the individual. The individual didn't make any more posts on that account, and it's also like, well, why do they have an obligation to play nice with an NHL investigation in the first place?
Especially when you consider the history of NHL investigations and what those have amounted to.
Yeah, it's like like this wasn't even a situation where like the NHL, did the thing where like they hired an independent third party law firm to conduct an investigation. They didn't even do that. Right. This would have been talking directly to the NHL. And the allegations didn't even request, him to be kicked out of the league or, ask for any kind of repercussions for Cole, Mm-hmm. It was just somebody potentially relaying their experiences and to, I guess, warn other women about, his behavior.
Sure.
Right. So I feel
like the responsibility here falls on the league. And with this statement here, the league almost makes it seem like because we couldn't contact this person, oh, well, there's nothing else we can do. It, almost like they're putting the responsibility back onto the person who spoke out. Yeah.
And it's like they spoke to some of his former teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, which ones?
Yeah.
Like, so according to the allegation, like some of them knew,
right.
But like, how did the NHL decide who they were going to speak to?
Yeah, because this is a player who's played for a handful of teams over the years.
Yes. And so did they speak to like people that could, based on Cole's testimony, give him an alibi? So did they speak to people that, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's all very unsatisfying.
Yeah.
Insufficient, really.
And of course, like lack of evidence. There's never any evidence in situations like this.
Right.
There's never evidence unless Cole like owns up to it, right? So.
It also this here does not make me optimistic about how the league will continue to handle matters similar to this, because it's very clear that things need to change systemically, right, within the NHL. Yeah. And it's like, well, this feels like a shrug by them. Basically. And that's just not acceptable.
They handled this the way they would handle a headshot on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Like they had the in-person hearing and that was it.
Honestly, not even, because at least with on ice incidents, there's like a statement from a spokesperson that like gives like a formal address that's out there publicly and kind of breaks down step by step the decision making, right? But we didn't even get that here. It's all very vague. So
yeah, I just saw a lot of bullshit like, well, anybody can make a statement about anybody else just to get them to not play for a week. It's like,
oh yeah, sure. That's what the motivation here was. Give me a break.
Yeah, people wanted to stop Ian Cole, a washed up defenseman, from playing the Tampa Bay Lightning's first 2 games.
Ridiculous.
That was the goal.
The logic that people like, the lengths people will go to sort of like,
yeah, like. I don't want to cast doubt on, the accusation or whatever. Like whenever we were discussing it, I was like, well, there's no timeline here or like dates or anything, and so like it was just hard to gauge. Like, right. That was it, because like this person was not even like attempting to like provide evidence or like give reasons for why he should be out of the league or suspended or anything like that. That was not the goal of this Twitter post.
all these things you're saying would be the goal of a good investigation.
Yeah.
You would think, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. So reading it, and we read it, on the air, it did not read to me like a fabricated statement.
No, it's absurd to think that, honestly.
So
And that's something that you hear over and over again when it comes to allegations similar to this, allegations of assault or abuse or just like a history of misconduct, right? It's always like the reaction that some people have is not to listen to the allegation, but to figure out why there could be like an ulterior motive there.
Right.
And like why this person could be making it up or lying, which is, if that's your knee-jerk reaction, like that's a problem. You should maybe examine that. This
person was not asking for him to be suspended or kicked out of the league. This was not even a lawsuit. They were not even looking for damages. Right? Like there's nothing to be gained by fabricating anything at all.
No.
So, yeah, the NHL just sort of brushed it aside. Who knows? Maybe they've got really rock solid private evidence, but I severely doubt it. I really do. That's where my doubt lies, is with the NHL.
Absolutely.
So,
because that assumption is based on a track record and a history, and all that.
Okay. We have a movie to talk about.
Yes.
All right.
That's beautiful cinema.
Well,
debatable.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So we watched Halloween Ends, the end of a trilogy of Halloween movies, and the end of Halloween movies. Maybe?
Question mark.
Yeah, sure. So I sent you a text, like, I don't know, 6:30 last night. It was like something like, I'm an hour in and I'm like bored to tears. So yeah, that was kind of my experience.
That didn't change for you in the back half?
I mean, the last 20 minutes of this movie were a different movie.
Yeah.
Completely.
I agree, yeah.
It was just like so totally divorced from the rest of it. Like it could have been attached to any other Halloween movie.
Yes.
So like, I guess, but like by that point I was like already so whatever that it was just like nonsensical at that point because it felt like a totally different movie.
Yeah. Can I just say, like, before we get into it, because I watched the entire trilogy this past week.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen any of these new Halloween movies.
Yeah.
I think the reason for that is I remember in 2018 when the first one came out, I was like, oh, this is being well received. And as a kid, I, watched the Halloween movies quite often. So I would definitely be interested in seeing this. But I kept meaning to go back and rewatch the first Halloween right before, because that was how this was built. This was built as a direct sequel to the first Halloween, and they sort of tossed away like the sequels that came out after that. I never did that. I never got around to rewatching the original Halloween. So because of that, I never ended up checking this one out. But I did finally see it. Was not really impressed with Halloween 2018. Even though I think that's considered like the strongest of the three. Just in the public consensus, I consider it to be kind of the weakest one. Just because, like, for me, there was nothing original in this remake. It was treading the same territory as the old Halloween movies. I guess it was doing a somewhat competent job of that, but like it felt just like kind of like an imitation, there wasn't really anything new to it. All the way down to like very specific story beats, which was disappointing to me, because I felt like if you're going to come back after 40 years and you say that this is a direct sequel, you should back that up with like some new ideas. And those didn't come until Halloween Kills and Halloween-S. So
even then, Halloween Kills, I know you liked it more. Halloween Kills is a fucking shit show. It's a shit show.
I don't disagree. I should preface all of this by saying that on my Letterboxd, these three Halloween movies are among probably the lowest rated movies that I've given to anything all year. So take everything I say with knowing that.
Sure.
I'm not particularly high on any of them, but
yeah, I
did enjoy 2 and 3 more than the first one. And I Halloween Kills, I found more interesting because there was a change in tone where the first Halloween 2018 was very like self-serious for the most part and like gloomy and had that sort of vibe going. This movie was much campier, much more silly and like absurd and gory and messy and kind of just like it took us.
You're talking about Kills, right?
Kills, yes.
Yeah.
It took a swing. It didn't, it was a swing. It didn't necessarily make contact with the ball, but it definitely swung, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a fun slasher. It took the seriousness out of it and it just turned into a pretty brutal slasher with, expanding the cast. I really liked how they incorporated a lot of the sort of, the townspeople who were on the periphery, not only of Halloween 2018, but in the original as well. Characters that you would...
It was ridiculous.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, like characters that would have like a quick interaction with Michael Myers. You sort of saw
the two kids that Laurie Strode was babysitting are now, 50, 60 years old.
I kind of like that.
The nurse from the beginning of the original Halloween, who's now like 80, who wasn't even from the town, is now best friends with them and goes to their stupid Halloween karaoke reminiscence and has nothing to do the entire movie until she has to get killed.
Well, yeah, that there isn't great, but I kind of appreciated this because there's like
40 years ago.
Right. There's like this idea that
years.
Yeah, okay.
And evil has to die tonight.
Yeah, evil dies tonight. That was quite a... They really ran with that tagline. Oh my goodness.
So stupid.
No, but what I was saying about the townspeople, I just like there's this whole like through line with these three movies about how the town itself, Michael Myers weighs so heavily on the town itself, and I think to incorporate all these people that were on the periphery and make them part of like the main arc of the second movie was, it was something. It was something. It wasn't nothing.
Meanwhile, at least the second one held my attention.
Yes,
I'll give it
absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
This third one.
But hold on though. Can we quickly with Halloween Kills just to close the book on that? Because I remember briefly you mentioned how Halloween Kills had like this like social commentary that it was trying to do.
Yes.
Which I came away not really. I didn't have that takeaway.
So I had to refresh myself because even though it had just been a year. Time is fake, and so I had forgotten. So during the promotion, Jamie Lee Curtis compared the movie to the Black Lives Matter movement.
How so?
That's it. She just said it.
In what? Like a press interview or something?
How communal generational trauma.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not the no.
Yeah. But what people really took away from it was, this mob looks like January 6th.
Okay. I feel like the screenplay was probably already written before that.
Not only that, the movie was already filmed before then.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Because it was held for COVID.
Right.
So it was actually held. It was, and she even says this in the interview, that the movie was made pre-Black Lives Matter, but she still decided to compare it anyway.
Well, that's not possible, right? Because Black Lives Matter has existed for a long time, like years.
But before the protests of 2020.
Oh, so when all the white people decided that they were interested in Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
Okay, got you.
Before the protests of 2020. And so she said that the movie predated it and was a precursor to it. It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, none of that tracks.
No, it does. Of course it doesn't, because that wasn't why they made the movie. Like, it's not in the movie.
Right. Like, what you have in the movie is this like mob of townspeople and people that get involved with trying to hunt down Michael Myers, and they sort of fall under this mob mentality, right? This hive mind where it gets out of control.
Yeah.
And they end up straying from the goal, and a bad thing happens. It's like a witch hunt type deal. And that's like a storytelling thing that's existed forever.
But the problem is that the movie can't decide whether the mob mentality is good or not. Because the mob accidentally kills the mentally disabled guy, or forces him to kill himself, whatever, same difference. But then at the end, they like street justice beat down Michael Myers.
Well, after that, Michael Myers absolutely obliterates them all. So
well, yeah, but the movie doesn't want to like. It's like, okay, well, is the mob good or bad?
I think I think mob bad is the takeaway, personally.
But the movie isn't clear on that.
I do think it is, though. I think ultimately it is. I think mob equals bad. I think that's the takeaway.
You have like this street justice where it's like, yeah, we did it,
but they didn't. It was very silly, because this one dude tried to like take down Michael Myers with like a hose or something. It was absurd, and I think the movie's aware of that the whole time. Yeah,
the stupid old man that comes out of the bar with the baseball bat, he's gonna really get Michael Myers.
Exactly, but it's all self-aware though. It's all camp, right?
No, it's not.
Camp.
It's not self-aware. It's not self-aware enough. I think it takes itself too seriously. Like you said, it doesn't take itself seriously. It's hilarious that it takes itself seriously. I think that's what the comedy is.
So I think we disagree on the intention of the comedy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm defending it, but also it's a mediocre movie at best.
Sure.
Because the messaging here is I don't even really know.
Right. Evil bad.
Pretty much.
That's like the theme of the trilogy, is that evil bad.
Well, there's that, and there's I guess
generational trauma.
Generational trauma. Yeah. There's that too. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on those, but we are here to talk about Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to. Sorry to get too much into that.
That's fine. But yeah, this is the first Halloween to not feature Michael Myers since Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's pretty interesting.
But it does, though. Was that where they were advertising that?
No, they weren't.
Oh, okay. I mean, he's on the poster and everything, so.
Yeah. He's not really in it.
Well, you could say he's like a conduit.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. It's so stupid.
So, okay, so to set it up, what's going on here is the movie opens with this again, babysitter, which is a running thing here. Mm-hmm. Whoever writes these movies really has something to work out within themselves about their babysitting history. I don't know.
It's just to tie it back to the original. Is
that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So the babysitter's name is Corey, and there's a whole pre-title sequence intro where Corey's playing hide and seek with this kid, and the kid is playing around, so he traps Corey in the closet, and for whatever reason, Corey decides that the best course of action is to kick the door down after like 5 seconds of being in the closet, which was very silly. And by kicking the door down, he knocks the child over the second floor railing, and the kid...
it was more than the second floor.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the kid had a long fall, and he dies. And then boom, Halloween title sequence.
Yeah.
What did you make of this whole thing?
They wanted to have a Hereditary sequence.
Okay.
Where a kid dies gruesomely.
I was thinking Antichrist, but maybe.
Well, I couldn't watch that movie, as we've discussed at length. No pun intended.
Yeah. So I thought this was like going to be like some sort of shock value, and maybe it would incorporate into the main story somehow. I didn't expect that Corey would be like the protagonist of the movie.
Yeah.
And so he is now 4 years after this incident, he is back out in the world. I don't know if did he serve time? Like, what was his punishment for this?
It seemed like he didn't.
Okay. It was just deemed like an accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think somebody at some point said like negligent manslaughter. But they don't talk about like any kind of actual sentencing.
Right, because he's not like a minor or anything. They explicitly say he's 21 at the time happens.
Yeah.
So he's out now. He's still in Haddonfield. And of course, he's got the stigma attached to him of his past here. And people look at him a certain way, and they kind of tie this into how they look at, Laurie Strode and her granddaughter Allison.
Yeah, because they're the exact same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. This is where it all automatically doesn't make sense.
Right. It's weird, right? Because they do make the movie explicitly makes that parallel. And yet there is a scene written where Allison disputes it. And she's like, yeah, we are not the same. What you've been through is very different than what I've been through.
He does.
I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. He makes that statement. So it's like the movie knows it, but also doesn't know it. I don't know.
So it's like, oh well, we got to do this anyway.
Because that relationship hinges, the Allison and Corey relationship hinges on their common distaste for their surroundings, and they're seeking a new start in life, right?
Yeah.
Which kind of rang hollow to me.
It definitely does, because it's like, well, this is just a different movie. Like, but you have these vestigial characters from two parts of a trilogy.
Right.
This is just a totally different movie. Like you don't need the granddaughter, and you don't need Laurie Strode for this.
No.
And you don't need Michael Myers. This is just a totally different movie.
Although I'd argue that you didn't need Laurie Strode for Halloween Kills either.
No, you didn't, because she was just in a hospital bed the entire time.
Yes. And in this movie, the note I have about Laurie Strode is that she needs a ghostwriter.
Yes.
She's writing a memoir, and it's very bad.
She's terrible. She's terrible.
There's a line about like there's two paths in life that can lead you to suicide or cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
God,
that was really bad.
And to be fair, that's not Laurie Strode's fault. That's the screenwriter's fault.
Still really bad.
But yeah, no, you mentioned the absence of Michael Myers, because up to this point in the movie, there is no Michael Myers. He's just kind of, people know that he's out in the wild, but they don't know where he is.
Not even up to this point. It's not until like an hour and a half in.
I think it's a bit earlier than that, because I was going to say the part where I get really engaged with the movie is when Corey finds himself in that underground like tunnel, and he encounters the sewer. Yeah, thank you. The sewer, where he finds Michael Myers, and he has that moment where they have this beautiful scene with their eye contact, and Myers lets him go because he sees himself with Corey or something.
Yeah, no, this is the dumbest shit. The absolute dumbest shit.
I don't know. I found it entertaining because at this point, Michael Myers is like, or Corey's like a vessel for Myers. He's like almost like a protege.
Yeah,
and so
stupid.
Corey turns into a serial killer, and he's sort of like aiding Myers in his killings while also trying to like learn from him.
This was so stupid. I hated this.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of fun.
I hated this. Why would Michael Myers need a protege?
Well, he doesn't, right? It's more Corey's interest.
Yeah, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. He asks Michael Myers to teach me. He says, teach me. And he just stabs a guy. You don't know how to stab a guy? You can't figure that one out? You don't know how to stab a guy? He's already killed somebody. He already killed the homeless guy.
Yeah, he did.
You don't know how to stab a guy?
Right. Well, he's killed two people at this point, because there was the kid as well.
Oh, that stupid line he says to the granddaughter.
Yeah.
Where they're walking and he just turns and says, I killed somebody.
With his like leather jacket and his motorcycle.
Yeah, I killed somebody. And then it just cuts. I'm like, what? I like laughed out loud. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm. So the idea there that was like a little bit of misdirection, like he was going to admit to his actual murder, but instead he's just talking about his negligent manslaughter, as we call it.
Right. Like, this is so stupid. So Michael Myers decides not to, all right. So they set it up. This homeless guy shows him the tunnel, or drags him into the tunnel or whatever, because Michael Myers has to feed on killing or something.
Well, he's just doing what Michael Myers has always done.
Yeah, but like that's like his sustenance now.
Sure.
Is killing people. And so for whatever reason, he could also read his mind. He can read Corey's mind. And so he decides not to kill him. The first person he's ever decided not to kill is this kid.
I took that as Michael Myers is this unstoppable force of evil, except when he encounters a troubled young boy or former troubled young boy, because
it's so stupid.
Because there's the scene where they go back to 1970 and there's the kid who stumbles on the sidewalk and Michael Myers is standing above him, and you assume that he will kill this kid like anybody else, but he doesn't, right? He spares him. So I feel like this interaction with Corey is just another example of that, because Michael Myers himself was a troubled young boy, and so he has this maybe it's even like an unconscious part of him has like this like soft spot for that type of background.
This is so dumb. No, it's so dumb. And so
it is dumb. It is dumb. Yeah,
he's taking him, but it's not even fun dumb. It's just stupid. And so then he's taking him on killings.
Yeah,
but like
those are good.
Whatever. Like, but now they're like targeted. Now he's like acting like an actual serial killer instead of just like this wanton force of death.
No, you know? I don't think there's any motivation on Michael Myers' part. That's all on Corey's side of it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, but Michael Myers is just going along with it.
Yeah.
Like he's.
But
like
that's always what Michael Myers does.
No. Before he just kills
Okay,
indiscriminately.
So can I bring up something that I think was potentially the most interesting element of this trilogy, but wasn't really explored very well, is the idea that Michael Myers has no underlying motivation, and that all of the horror that people like project, or all the meaning people project onto him is just that. It's just projections, right? Because there's in one of the prior movies, there's this constant struggle with Laurie Strode and how her guilt and how she feels like she's responsible for a lot of this, and that there's this connection between her and Michael, right? Like this tether between the two.
Yeah.
And that like your relation to Laurie is ultimately your downfall because that brings you closer to Michael. But it's like, no, Michael doesn't care about Laurie Strode at all, or at least no more than any other random person that he's killed. Like it's the doctor that first brought Michael to Laurie. And in this case, it's Corey stumbled upon Michael, and there really is no connection there on Michael's part either, right? I just like Michael as this force of evil, and that's it. There's no other motivation except for what everybody else wants to believe. Right. Yeah.
But now he's just following this kid and killing like who he orders him to.
I guess so.
Like, yeah, like what is this is awful. This sucks. And like the kid like basically beats up Michael Myers to get his mask.
Right.
Like, what is this? This is the most non-threatening he's ever been.
Well, to be fair, he's been living in a sewer for 4 years.
But yeah, but
if they were going somewhere with this, they would have had to explore further that moment where he spares Corey, and they would need to explore that, but they didn't.
Right. It's a different movie.
Yeah.
It's a different movie. Like it's just so unattached to Halloween. Like this didn't need to be a Halloween movie. This was like somebody else's script for something else, you know?
Well, to me, it felt more just like they had a half-baked idea like they had in the second movie, and they kind of ran with it. And, you know, that's slightly more interesting than just retreading the territory that came before. Like, I'm glad I saw this instead of like a final showdown between like Michael and Laurie that lasted an hour and a half. Instead, you got that in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, but you're telling me you didn't want to see a final, like, Michael Myers killing spree on the town?
No, because we got that in I almost said episode 2 because it felt like I was watching a series, but in Halloween Kills, that's what that movie was.
So then he's in a sewer for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
While we get to watch Charlie Kirk run around, who I knew they were going to try to turn into Michael Myers, by the way, because they put him in coveralls.
Mm-hmm.
Sucked.
Yeah, this really hinged on making Corey an interesting character, and they didn't do that.
And he wasn't. No, he was not.
And they also took the character of Allison and sort of warped her into like this, I don't know, just somebody that wasn't really recognizable from the Allison in the first movie or even the second movie, but especially the first movie.
I don't even remember her character from the other movies. I didn't think she had a character in the other movies. She was just daughter.
Yeah, but she kind of did in the first one because it's like she had this falling out with her boyfriend, and there was like this whole like...
Oh, the boyfriend in the skirt.
The boyfriend in the skirt, who I think died at some point, everybody else. But yeah, no, because they were doing a Bonnie and Clyde thing, so they were doing like reverse Bonnie and Clyde, which I like the costumes. The costumes in these movies are always really good. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, just she had like an arc, and it felt like an arc where the character had like some real agency. And in this third movie, she's kind of like this almost like the sidekick of this Corey kid that we don't really care about, and she's like so into this guy, and the reasons that she's so into him aren't really believable. Like this connection they have isn't really believable. It feels forced.
Yeah,
it just didn't really make sense.
They want him to simultaneously be wimpy and like threatening.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't work.
Right.
And also, it really annoyed me that, like, anytime he wears a mask and has to kill somebody, he then immediately takes it off. So, like, we have to know that it's not actually Michael Myers, that it's the kid.
Isn't Michael Myers like insanely tall?
Yeah, it's like we know it's not him. Yeah. But like, you put him in the coveralls, so we know what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, not good. And that's like the other thing. They never knew what they wanted to do with Laurie.
No, they did not.
I know from a plot standpoint, clearly, because in the second movie, they just stuck her in a hospital bed. Mm-hmm. But I mean, like, from a character's perspective, like, in the first one, she was like, a paranoid survivalist, that whole thing. And then on this one, she's like Alan Wake, the novelist, right? Like, she's, writing her memoirs, trying to be a grandma.
Yeah. Well, there's the with the memoir angle, it's like this striving to move on and sort of like process and all that, right? But it's so heavy-handed.
Yeah, there's no character there.
No.
And then like the stupid suicide scene was so lame.
It was rough.
Oh my God. Doing the whole thing. And then she says to the camera, to the audience, you thought I was going to kill myself? No, I didn't. I really didn't.
Well, no, she was saying that to Corey.
No. That was to the audience.
Really?
You really thought I was going to kill myself?
Oh, Christ. That makes it so much worse than I thought. I thought that was just, she was saying that because Corey was around the corner, like behind the door.
Plot-wise, yes, but no, that was a line for the audience. It was a wink and a nod. You really thought we were going to kill Lori? Awful. Awful, awful, awful.
You mentioned how the ending is like detached from everything else. And like, that's true. And I think because of that, it's actually quite good. Like as an ending... as an ending to a Halloween story that is meant to finalize this whole thing, but yet doesn't, like, they didn't earn it with this trilogy, but like as an ending, it's quite good. The way they go of disposing of Michael Myers for the final time is great.
Yeah, but yeah. Like, wouldn't that have made more sense at the end of the previous movie? You gather the whole town.
Yeah, but you have to make these things in threes.
Yeah, but...
No, I agree. It would have been better. Like, it would have been better in that movie. Yeah.
Okay, also, something that bothered the shit out of me. They kept trying to create this through line of everybody is suddenly blaming Lori for Michael Myers killing people?
Yeah.
What was that about?
Well, that's what I was talking about before, how like everybody thinks there's this motivation on the part of Michael Myers when there isn't one. And so the guilt falls onto a person who is actually capable of feeling guilt like Lori is. You know, she's taking that burden where with Michael, he's just like he's got nothing going on up there in the head. He's just a force of evil, right?
But people were simultaneously acting like Michael Myers didn't exist, or that he did and he killed people, but it's her fault. But it's also her fault for drumming up hysteria about him. But he existed and he killed people. Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, they just, I don't know. It was weird. Everybody in the town sucked. Like, they all sucked. They're like yelling at Lori for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor's a weirdo pervert. Those high school kids. Like, everybody in the town did suck.
Which is why Halloween Kills is the best of the three, because all those crappy town people end up getting brutally killed.
But that's the thing with a good slasher, is that you want everybody to get killed.
Mm-hmm.
You want all the annoying teens to get murdered.
Yeah.
You just don't want another whiny person to do it.
Yeah.
You want silent Michael Myers coming out from the shadows doing the fucking Undertaker, rising up thing.
Actually, with Halloween Kills, it's not even that the townspeople were annoying or like bad people. It's just they were like incompetent in how they were going about things.
They were just stupid.
Yeah.
Evil dies tonight.
Mm-hmm. They need to workshop that for sure.
Yeah, just the whole like evil thing. I just kept thinking, it's like, I feel like you need to define evil at a certain point. And I feel like the movies didn't do that, like we get it. Like,
this is what we showed up for. Like, we know Michael Myers, this whole deal. Like, we understand what we're getting ourselves into here. You don't need to be so heavy handed in trying to relay this message to the audience.
Right. Murder bad. Like,
Sure.
We know. So like, you don't need to be like, you need to choose evil or close the door or mix your metaphors or bake the pie or cherry blossoms. Like, you don't need to like, it's just not
the
good.
Cherry blossoms were
good.
brutal.
That was really
Which, by
bad.
the way, the timeline doesn't even match up because this is like Halloween and the cherry blossoms are in like the springtime?
I think so.
So what, are you planning a trip for 6 months from now? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Was that the same cop that was in the hospital in the second movie? Because it looked like a different guy.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay.
Neither him and Lori, they didn't know what to do with either one of them.
No, they
They just
didn't.
had to keep them both around because they were part of the original movie.
Right. God. Like, I get it. It's Jamie Lee Curtis. You want her around for the trilogy. But why do you need that guy?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
And you need the little girl who now runs the bar. Okay, fine, sure.
Yeah, it was very heavy on callbacks and references.
The sewing needle. Okay, fine. Like, you didn't have to like to talk about the sewing needle so much and then use it at the end. Like, you could have just used it at the end.
You know what's so weird about all this is that for all the criticism that we're saying here, I found all three of these movies very watchable. Like, I had no problem getting through them. I was fairly engaged with them, more so the final two than the first one. But I don't know. Like, I usually, if I'm watching a bad or formulaic horror movie, I check out, like, mentally. But like with these, something about them, something about Halloween and Michael Myers and all that kept my attention. Despite all the shortcomings.
No, I was reversed. Like, I honestly don't remember much about the first one, but I remember liking it, like all the way through. And then the second one, it was a mess, but I was engaged. And this one, I was just checked out. Yeah, I really was. And part of that is because it wasn't a horror movie, like just straight up. It just wasn't.
It was like it tried to be a psychological thriller without having any of the insights that a good psychological thriller has.
It didn't have the thriller aspect, and it didn't have like the character study.
Right.
So it was just kind of maybe a drama. But yeah. So like I was just checked out. I was just like, okay, are they really not gonna do anything with Michael Myers at all? Like, I knew they'd like eventually show him or the mask or something, but I was just like, this sucks. This is not good.
And to be fair,
I was like so checked out.
Like, I don't know where you go from massacring the whole town again.
There's still a lot of people around. I mean, you gotta,
Okay, you just gotta get him again. Take another swing around town.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. It just wasn't this.
Yeah.
Or don't do a trilogy, right? Like.
Well, that's just not reasonable because that's how these things work. For all the writing problems with the character, Jamie Lee Curtis is still great.
I guess they just didn't give her anything to do.
Yeah, they just didn't give her much to do. Judy Greer's really good. Kind of the same problem though, where she wasn't much of a character. Andy Matichik, the granddaughter, I thought was probably the highlight of the first one. So yeah.
What's the date? So we'd have space for one more.
Okay. I did come with one this time. Also, I was going to ask if we can extend this a little bit into November because the new Jordan Peele is hitting streaming platforms it's hitting like Peacock or something in November.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care.
And I feel like we could incorporate that.
Sure.
But wait, did you have another suggestion for next week or can I?
I mean, I had one if you didn't.
What was yours?
The new Scream.
Oh, wait, which one though? Because isn't there there's one that came out earlier this year and then there's another one. It's like,
I think the one that came out earlier this year.
Okay.
Did you already see it?
No. What does that require? Because I've seen,
I have no idea.
I've seen the original Scream and I love it. I think it's very, very smart and just a great movie, but I've never seen anything beyond that. I've never seen any sequels. I know there's a TV series at one point.
Direct sequel to Scream 4.
Oh God, help me.
Okay. Though billed as a relaunch, the film was a direct sequel to Scream 4.
It's just, I feel it's just been kind of a tough time with these remakes lately with Halloween and Hellraiser.
Well, the only reason is that I heard that they use an Alkaline Trio song.
Yeah, but you've heard them all.
I know, obviously, but I'm curious to hear how they use it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
In 2022.
I was going to suggest Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
That was going to be my other suggestion, so let's just do that.
Great. It's like another modern slasher comedy type deal, which I've heard good things about, and it's got like a lot of cool people in it.
Yeah, it's got Pom Pom Squad in it.
Yes, Pom Pom Squad. Rachel Sennett, Maria Bakalova from the second Borat movie.
Sure.
Lee Pace, Amanda Stenberg. Yeah, this looks. I've wanted to watch this for a while. So
yeah, we'll do that instead.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Let me do some anime bullshit. Great. So there was some Silent Hill stream where they announced all kinds of Silent Hill stuff. And I haven't really gotten into the Silent Hill too much.
No, me neither.
I've always wanted to, but I haven't gotten into it. But there's one of the new projects is called Silent Hill F. And it's like a departure because it's supposed to be like moving the series to Japan instead of like being set in like a fictional US town. And the writer for that game is Ryukishi07, who is the creator of Higurashi. So that's I think that's pretty cool. And probably nobody else but me gives a shit. But
I mean, it's a very storied franchise.
Talk about Higurashi, right?
Silent Hill.
Yes, I think that's pretty cool. And I think there's a lot of people posting the artwork for the original Higurashi. Why is my brain broken? The artwork for the original Higurashi visual novels, which are interesting to say the least. Like you should just Google like Higurashi art sometime.
I will do it right now.
Yeah, well, here I'll send you something. But for those listening at home,
oh, you were talking to them.
I was talking to them.
Okay, I see.
I'll
how
send
it
you
is.
something. Yeah.
Oh, this is
So, like,
this
it's,
is like the contrast you get when you have these the cute anime girls with the very disturbing imagery.
Yeah, but even so, it's a very distinct like amateur looking art style, but it's like very purposeful. He doesn't know how to draw hands at all.
I can see that from the
are,
shot you put in the Discord here.
Yeah. The hands are not very
interesting.
Good. And of course, I have no room to talk. I can't draw stick figures, so even something like this.
Is that like a case where the artist can't do it, or is it a style choice?
I think it's a skill level.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a skill thing.
Really? Because that not knowing the context, that feels very deliberate to me.
I think it's a skill.
Because in this second photo that you posted, it's like the hands are front and center.
They are. I can't tell you the context of this specific image, but I just think he can't draw hands.
Okay.
And I think there have been like re-releases of the games where you got somebody else to do the art, and so it's like improved. And of course, the anime adaptations don't look like that. But a lot of people just like the charm of like the original sort of. I
can see that. Yeah.
And but also it's mostly the story that is what hooks people. And so like if people could get past like that kind of artwork and still stick around and like have it be such a cult thing, I think says a lot.
Sure.
So yes, this is pretty damn exciting. I think this is like the most high profile sort of project that this writer has worked on. It's mostly been like visual novels and I think like manga adaptations of the visual novels and things like that. So very curious about that game. I think it was also like a remake of Silent Hill 2. The people said looked bad, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you. All I remember is that the HD like remasters from like the PS3 era of those games were apparently like dog shit. So like that collection was pretty bad.
So you're saying the PS3 games were remastered?
No, it was a PS3 collection of like Silent Hill 1 and 2, I think. And it was like really bad. Like the I don't remember what about them, but it was just like worse than playing like the PS1 original in some way. Yeah. So, and I guess PS2. I think Silent Hill 2 was a PS2 game. I've always wanted to play them, but I haven't gotten around to it. And then the other thing I want to mention here was I talked about it last week. The anime Summertime Rendering. Since I had to steal it because it's not widely available on Disney Plus, even though they have the exclusive rights to it. They've only released it in select Asian countries for whatever reason. It's really fucking good.
Cool.
Yeah. It's just such a fucking shame that nobody can watch it. So the premise is this guy is returning to his hometown that is on a kind of remote island after a couple of years that because he moved to Tokyo for school. And he's returning for the funeral of a childhood friend who died in an accident. And it's a supernatural horror adjacent mystery series that involves time loops. So it has some similarities with Higurashi. I think it's much more coherent than Higurashi is. It's much more approachable. They do a very good job of explaining the sort of the rules at play and like the stakes of the world in a much more coherent way than Higurashi does, with its sort of like loops and parallel universes and things like that. Yeah, it's really good. The animation's excellent. I have like about it's a 25 episode series, and I have like maybe 6 episodes left. So unless it like really butchers the ending, you know, I think it's like fantastic. It has just the tiny little bit like in common with Twin Peaks. Just the barest of threads. Like you know, like it's a young girl that you know, is dead on a beach, right? And there is a detective adjacent character that leaves voice memos to somebody that's off screen. And is kind of eccentric, like they always hang upside down, you know. So it kind of Dale Cooper-y, and it's just a couple similarities. But yeah, it's really good. And even as it gets more and more complicated, like with like the rules of, you know, this world and like the supernatural qualities of it, it sort of like eases you in and like doesn't get overwhelming with what's going on. And it doesn't get like bogged down in like a ton of jargon or like shit like that. That like is pretty easy to get, you know, swamped in with like a supernatural kind of sci-fi series, especially like with time travel and things like that. It's very legible, and like they will like use like visual aids to sort of like visually display like concepts that are going on, like a loop, like a time travel loop is, you know, displayed like as a cliff, and like how each step of the loop can progress and things like that. Like they do a very nice job of having everything make sense, and whether they like just have that relayed through dialogue or actually like visually animating some sort of representation of that. They do a really good job with that.
This sounds really good. I do hope that the show gets a US release.
Yeah, it's really such a damn shame. I don't know why you know, Disney would buy the rights to it and then not release it.
The only thing I can guess is that they've excluded things that they've had the rights to on Disney, you know, putting on Disney Plus before, because it just didn't fit like the branding that they want for Disney Plus.
It's pretty violent. Yeah.
So that would be my guess.
Then, like, okay, put it on Hulu.
Oh, absolutely. It would fit perfectly, you know, on Hulu. Hulu already has a big library.
Put it on Hulu.
That's always Hulu's been the go-to for stuff that they don't want to put on Disney Plus. Anyway.
So just put it on Hulu, you know? Let people be able to see it.
Which, by the way, that the stuff I'm talking about here, so like in the past, like that's been a really bad look for them. Because I remember specifically there was like a TV spinoff of Love, Simon, which was supposed to be, I think, a Disney Plus show, and then eventually was moved to Hulu. And really, the only, like, what reason would that happen for, right? Because you're talking about a teen-oriented show. You know, it's easy to jump to the conclusion that because it featured a gay protagonist, right, that Disney hesitated to put it on that platform, which is very bad. Yeah. To withhold a show for that reason. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like this is pretty violent, you know. There's a lot of blood. It's not gratuitous, but like there's a lot of blood. People die.
Sure. Although that happens in Marvel movies.
Yeah. Too, well, so. Okay. This is more extreme than a Marvel movie.
Okay. Fair.
You know, like somebody's eyeball gets popped out. You know. There's just shit like that. Like people are losing limbs. You know, coughing up blood. You know, stuff happens. And like it's hard to tell. Like, okay, so like you got to use fan translations, right? Yeah. It's hard to tell without knowing the language what they're translating. Like, especially in the last couple episodes I've been watching, the word cunt has come up a couple times. And it's I don't think they're using the word cunt in the original Japanese. Something tells me something tells me that's not the, I don't know. So yeah. But like an interesting thing is that so So this like takes place on this island, and so everybody talks with a dialect. And if you watch a lot of anime or like, you know, Japanese media, you can kind of tell that they're using a dialect. Because it doesn't usually it doesn't sound like the typical Japanese that you would hear on anime.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that it's being translated in this fan sub is sort of like Southern American, where there's lots of like, instead of you, it's ya or like y'all, you know, and things like that. Which is it's interesting to me. And like you kind of see that in like other anime where they like talk about dialects and accents. So I wonder if there is maybe a complication in Disney's localization efforts for it. I don't know. Because like I think Disney's done like Ghibli stuff, right? I think they're like the one that has released Ghibli movies.
I have no idea. Is that true though? Because all the Ghibli stuff is owned by.
I think in the past Disney's done
in the past, yeah.
Some of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a bummer because it's really good.
Yeah, I'd be very interested. Like, you've sold me on it. I just, it's a shame I can't just like go through that one later.
So hopefully sometime soon.
Have you watched anything on Disney Plus?
No.
Okay. Just thought I'd check in and see.
Nope. No, I have not. I haven't really watched anything other than hockey and this and the movie we had to watch.
Oh, yeah. The past week for me has been hockey and Halloween exclusively.
Yeah. So, and there was like a 14 patch. So I've been also like doing that in my free time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lost like all of yesterday to sleep because of I got double vaxxed. So.
Oh, shit. How'd that go?
It was fine. I was just like, I got it on Wednesday, and I was actually concerned that like they either didn't give me or screwed up the COVID shot, because like I didn't feel it whenever I actually like got the needle. I was like, oh, that like I didn't feel anything at all. And so I'm like, I kind of hope I get like the sore arm or whatever, so I know that I actually got it.
Sure.
And then I got the sore arm.
I guess that person was just very skilled at administering.
Yeah, I guess because like I definitely because I got the new COVID one, and I also got a flu shot. And so I got one in each arm, like because they ask you how you want to do it.
Doubling up.
And
That's good.
I definitely felt the flu needle, and on Wednesday I felt okay, but then yesterday I was just fucking tired like the whole day, and felt like I had a fever like pretty much the whole day. But yeah, other than that, it was fine. Like the arm was kind of sore. I can't remember if it was my first vax or the booster, or like my whole arm was just like so sore I could barely move it.
Yeah, I had no real issues with my initial vaccination, but my booster later on that year like destroyed me for a day.
This the most I got was just like my arm was kind of sore like around the injection area, but other than that, it hasn't been a problem.
Well, that's cool. Now you're all set and prepared for the nightmare wave that I've heard is on the way.
Yeah, so. I just read about that after I got my shot. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
That's not some special Halloween promotion. That's apparently more COVID.
Yeah. So there's that. And I figured I'd get the flu shot. Because why not?
Because why not?
I made the appointment, and it's like, oh, hey, you want a flu shot too? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? And it's like, oh, do you also want pneumonia and whooping cough and shingles? And I was like,
maybe some other time.
Maybe not all of them.
I only have so many arms.
Yeah, maybe not all of them. So it's just like, I'll get the flu shot. Because I got the flu in 2019, which seems like a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
But that was no fucking fun. The flu sucks. So.
I'd imagine, yeah. Yeah, 2019 is the before time. In my head, that's when I consider it.
I actually, I had the flu for like a week. It sucked so bad.
Damn.
And I actually had to go to a job interview while I was sick with the flu. And yeah, that was not fun.
I mean, job interviews are like the worst thing when you're not sick.
And I'm like in my suit already, I already sweat enough as it is, just as a person. And then I have the flu. So like I'm feverish, and I'm in a place I've never been, talking to people I've never met before, trying to sound like I'm like a human being. And then I'm just like sick out of my mind. It was not fun at all.
It's horrible.
I got that job somehow, but but the job sucked ass.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was not good.
Wait, I feel like I don't
Anyway,
remember this. It's
2019, yeah.
I guess
yeah.
it was a
that
lifetime
was like,
ago.
Yeah, it
so.
really was. That was like the last in-person job I had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That place sucked. Anyway, we're over 2 hours. We had some other stuff, but it's nothing major.
Excuse me?
Oh, no.
Excuse me?
No.
Did you just say that the release, the day that we are recording this podcast, is the release day for Midnight's Birthday?
What's the difference if we talk about it now or we talk about it next week?
That's fair, because I actually have only listened to it once, because it just came out, so I really wouldn't have anything productive to say yet.
There you go. So you acknowledged it. You acknowledged the numerology of it. Actually, there was a tweet. Hold on. I want to pull this up because I almost sent this to you. Taylor is going to be 12,000 days old when Midnight's is released on Friday. 12,000.
There's a photo of the guy from the rehearsal, right?
Like how a clock has 12 numbers, and then somebody quotes the guy from the rehearsal. Yeah,
that's very good. I almost sent that to you actually, because you were making fun of that like exact thing a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
but it kind of makes sense though, because it is Midnight's. It refers to 12 a.m. and it's a clock, so I thought that's a pretty
people know what midnight is. Yeah,
it's a pretty cool coincidence.
It's just a coincidence.
I was also gonna highlight, because there's like so much music out today, and I'm assuming that a majority of these artists had announced this release date prior to the T-Swizzle, because I feel like you want to try to avoid.
Don't say that out loud.
What do you mean? Yeah.
T-Swizzle? No.
Should we end the podcast?
Yeah. I think the podcast is over. I think we'll never do another episode again. I think this is it. So. Oh shit.
So you gonna sign off?
I'm gonna sign off. Yeah. Thanks to T-Swizzle for listening.
Oh, if only.
Anyway, thanks so much for listening, especially if you stick it out to the end where we just collectively lose our minds. Check out our beautiful cinema. We talked about the new Hellraiser. So if you want to know that you should not watch that movie, you should listen to us tell you to not watch that movie. It's up on YouTube and the podcast feed. As soon as I put that up on YouTube and the podcast feed. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at DeadEndRoad, Facebook.com/DeadEndRoadTV, Twitch.tv/DeadEndRoadTV. We'll be doing a live show on October 28th. Check us out, 7 p.m. Eastern. YouTube search for DeadEndRoad TV. And also, we'll get a YouTube handle in the next couple weeks. Some kind of new YouTube system. I don't know. I'll tell you about it. Ko-fi.com/DeadEndRoad. Email us anything at all, like your thoughts on the Halloween trilogy or the new Taylor Swift album. Video at DeadEndRoad.co. Okay, we gotta get out of here. Thank you for listening.